we go, y'all. Back at it again. Tell a friend. Getting it in. So, yo, no free promotion. So what it do, y'all? This is your brother, Intarnational, tapping back in once again. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Now, if you are new to this channel, you may wonder why I am called Intarnational, but it appears that all my videos are local in the domestic United States of America. So how do I call myself international? But it seems that my videos, in all my videos, that I'm domestic. Well, if you guys are interested and take the time to stroll down on my videos, you will see that my very first videos, my very first videos on my channel was I'm overseas. I think one of my first videos, don't quote me, but one of my first videos, I'm actually in Australia. And another one of my videos, I'm in Kemet. Kemet is a name that was given by the local people who lived in the land now called Egypt. Egypt is the term that the Greeks gave it, but the original people of that land, which are black people, they called it the land of blacks. And it is because, if you look on the map, Kemet, Egypt is in Africa, but it's not a history lesson. So what I was going with is, I'm saying, like, if you guys look at some of my first videos, you see that I was international. And my name is Jay, so it all made sense. But even before that, let's say before that, I was documenting my travels on Facebook. So I was a part of a Facebook group, and it was run by a brother. He was a very charismatic brother. He's a popular brother. He's no longer with us, but his name is Charles Tyler. And I was in his group, and I would just basically document, video where I was at within the group. The group was focused on black men in particular traveling abroad to certain specific countries. Charles focused on Brazil, but the other countries that were talked about in the group was Thailand, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic. These were like the main focus points that the brothers in the group would talk about, for obvious reasons. Oh, in Colombia too. But yeah, those were the main travel countries within the group were Brazil, Thailand, the DR, Colombia, and the Philippines. And so me, I was kind of different within the group because I would not only be, I traveled to those countries. I didn't go, I've never been to DR yet, but I traveled to, in the Philippines, but I traveled to Thailand, traveled to Brazil, traveled to Colombia. But I think I was different because my travels, I was traveling to different places outside of those four main countries that they were talking about within the group. And a major focus of the group was, the women. And yes, when I travel, I meet women. I enjoy the company of women. But my videos were just like more focused on the experience of traveling and things like that. And now that I look back at that period, I always look back in hindsight and I say, man, if only I switched that to YouTube, I would have been one of the big travel content creators, because this was before the major guys, like, the main guys like Check in Effect, Ace, like that timeline. I was popular within the group. Like, people knew about me within the group. As a matter of fact, how do I know? Like, I remember one time Charles had a beach party. Yeah, Charles had a beach party. And I went to the first one in Brazil. And it's kind of like when I showed up, like everybody knew about me. Like, it was a whole, different brothers from all over the U.S. that came out there, but they knew about Jay International. And they're like, oh, you Jay, that's Jay International right there. And then one time, I had actually went to some event in Washington, D.C., separate from this. It was like a black event. And a brother came up to me, surprisingly, and he's like, oh, you. So as I look back at that in hindsight, I say to myself, damn, I could have been that guy. Unfortunately, that's life. You don't hop on an opportunity, somebody else does. Somebody else sees that opportunity or sees that window. But nevertheless, Brother Charles transitioned. The group splintered because you had a lot of, even me, I became disheartened with the group because it seemed like a lot of brothers in the group were gaslighting like the experience of being overseas, that basically all you had to do was just show up with your passport and then that's it. We show up with your passport and damn, there you go. Women is just gonna be throwing themselves at you, which is far from the truth. It doesn't matter just because you're American and you got a passport. And then they were gaslighting brothers like you can just look any way. Like, you can just look fat, sloppy, rough. And if you just show up and you just hold your blue passport book, they'll say, oh, no, ladies, nah, it's not how it works. But they had brothers believing that, and I spoke out against that, because when you gaslight people, you can set people up with unrealistic expectations, and you set people up for failure. And that's kind of what they did. And I brought that up and they kicked me out. But that's a brief history on how my name is Jay International. And when I started this channel, I had another channel, but I always talked about, other things. My mind always talked about, not just travel, but like social issues, political issues, issues affecting the Black American community. I've always talked about that, even when I was in the group. And so I just didn't focus on travel. So when I created this channel, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna start my own travel channel. But it seems like it was a second too late, because by the time where I would have been probably one of the big guys or one of the first, by this time that I started this channel, it was already saturated. And I feel like, damn, I missed that window. But it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't complain on something that it's already passed, and it's no going back. So basically, I keep my name J International because that's what I am. I mean, I still want to travel. I still love traveling. I still plan to travel, and that's going to be the reality for me. So, but on this channel, as you can see, I touch on other things. I touch on other subjects, not just, I touch on political, social, economic, race relations. I touch on those. And when I get back to traveling, well, we're going to do that too. But it seems that I might have to take my channel in a different direction, because it seems like all the content that I'm seeing online is that it's going to get traction. It's like when you just talk about current events and just react to current events. I don't know, maybe it's just for me, but it seems like creative, original works where the content creator just like comes up with something original, not like, reacting to something, or reacting to another channel, or reacting to the latest viral thing that's out. It seems like those like, if you're not doing that and your channel is not big, that you're not going to get no traction, or you're not going to get seen in the algorithm. So I guess that I have to kind of like switch it up and kind of like talk about, I guess, touch on current topics and stuff like that, stuff that's viral. But it's, that's not really me. Like, I'll touch on things that spark my interest. Like, if it's something that draws my attention, I naturally just touch on it. But it seems to me that you have to touch on stuff that you're not even interested in, like, gossip stuff, and it seems that may be the only way to get one's channel popping like it should be, because, all these content creators want their channel to grow. So why? It's obvious. So you can make money and you can live off of something that you hopefully like doing. Hopefully, if you're a content creator, you're creating content because you like it, and it doesn't feel like a job, a job. You dig? But yeah, it seems like that's the direction I'm probably gonna have to go in, because my numbers are just stuck, and it's like I'll drop like one video and then it gets a little traction for me, what I consider traction. Of course, for a big YouTuber or a big content creator, is peanuts. But for me, I consider it traction. And then it'll just die out. And I'll try to follow up with something else, but then that'll get next to nothing. But with that being said, I just want to give y'all a brief history on how my name came about, and like an update on where I think I'm gonna try to take this channel more. But with that being said, if you are a loyal subscriber, make sure you like the video, make sure you share. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I gotta get off because they playing that mariachi movie. How you say it? I don't say mariachi music in the background. I don't want to get a copyright. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.